higher than ourselves, and we need to respect one another.
Yes, sir. Very good. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your candidness. We're sorry to hear your story, but we're glad also that you've turned your pain into purpose and turned your tragedy into triumph. And so we're going to ask at this time, as we continue to talk about the problems that we continue to face in our community, you all can come on over and make yourself comfortable on the couch. We want you to be as comfortable as possible. Glad that you can share with us today. If never before, we need to learn how to encourage each other, and I'm glad to see the programs that you all have created so that you can assist other people who are facing this. Unfortunately, this has become an occurring event, a reoccurring event in our community, where we're taking our street corners and turning them into shrines because we have our young people who are being gunned down on a daily basis. We're glad to have sharing with us today Miss Catherine Jarich, who's sharing with us today, and she also is another young lady who has a powerful testimony about a tragedy that has taken place in her life. And we would like for you today to share with us your story, and if you don't mind, just introducing yourself, telling people who you are, and then telling us about your nephew that you're going to share your testimony, your story with
today. My name is Catherine Jarich, and this is Jeremy Jones, my nephew. He was 13 years old, going to be 14. He was in our church drama ministry.
Mm-hmm.
They called him the original Sam the Man, Christmas show.
Sam the Man.
Yes.
All right, I like that.
And then there was, he was in the youth and young adult choir. He was also an usher. He was a junior deacon. He always made me feel at home inside church and out of church as well.
Okay.
His grandma, Ramona Sim, took great care of him. She made sure that she took the time and the energy to give him a good Christian background,
mm-hmm.
so that way he could, well, obviously it wasn't Christianized that he fell to this floor, but it was, I guess, Satan's fate that had happened. But he was a good Christian boy. He was kind, always helping the elderly to their seats and things in church. He was a big brother to my daughter Tiffany. They were very close. Babysit and take care of her, and homework with her and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And he always made sure that he made everybody feel welcome. Mm-hmm. That church was the place that you needed to be.
Right.
He was I believe in the 8th grade. Was going to graduate 8th grade. There's nothing that I could say more to a parent is to take the time and the energy to just go up to your daughter, your son, your nephew, your grandson, and hug them.
Mm-hmm.
Because that hug could make their whole day brighter.
Okay.
That hug from a parent or grandma or grandpa, it just brightens up the child's day and let them know that you care.
Okay.
And the community has to get involved also.
Okay. Tell us what led up to Jeremy's demise. What happened on that day? Where were you all? How were?
Okay. Well, it was sad. It was tough. I was. The police came to my door, thinking that his grandmother stayed still at where I live now.
Okay.
And it's odd to get the police at your door. You know what's going to happen next. I called his grandmother. I asked for personal, immediate contact for the family, and we had to tell her over the telephone. And then she went to the hospital, the Christ Hospital, and 24 hours later, he was gone. I was on the phone with her, and I had asked how he was, you know, what he was, how bad. And she said, "Oh, Catherine, he didn't make it." And my daughter was in the room with me, and she was 7 then. And she must have caught the expression on my face, because she asked me, "Mama, what happened? How is he?" And I said, "Oh, he's gone. He's dead, Tiffany." And you expect, from her reaction, you expect expect the adult to fall to her knees. She fell to her knees and she was devastated. She asked me, can't you go in and fix his brain? Did the doctors work hard enough? Can't the doctors fix him? Who can fix him? Who could bring him back? Why did this happen? What kind of answers do you have for a 7-year-old?
Right. So what do you feel the problem that we have in our community, and what can be done about
Not enough positive youth centers, especially Roseland. Roseland doesn't have nothing.
Okay,
No,
so you're in the
not
Roseland
enough
community.
playgrounds,
Okay.
not enough security, special patrols are needed.
Okay.
The special patrols can help and assist the police.
Okay.
Also, youth centers, mentors, counselors, go to your beat meetings. That's important. Go to your beat meetings, your CAP meetings. That's very important. Take the time to love somebody. Take the time to hug each other.
So you feel that there needs to be additional programs in the community, after-school programs?
Well, in Roseland, there's none.
There's nothing out of Roseland?
I don't see none. There's
Okay.
one playground I know of. I've been there like 3 to 5 years.
Okay.
I'm willing to get involved as far as trying to open a youth center.
Okay.
I have contacts. Reverend Meeks should get involved. People from all the churches and the community leaders around should get involved. Don't profit from a child's tragedy.
Right.
Because that's the worst thing you could do. Because a child is a privilege.
Right.
It's a blessing from God.
Right.
And that parents should understand that that blessing at any time could be taken away from us.
What do you say when people say there's a YMCA out in the community, I think on 111th Street?
It's far away. It's on, 63rd and Stony Island? That's far away from us.
Okay.
We could show you some more of them. YMCA, YWCA, youth centers, playgrounds. Just get involved with everybody, anybody that has contacts. There's Southside Help Center,
Okay.
113th in Halsted,
Right.
140th in Halsted. At my church, we're forming a Save Our Children rally in August
Okay.
on the 29th. And I came up with that after Jeremy had died.
Right.
I think it's a good idea that have positive youth speakers from different communities to say, who am I and what do I do? And commend the children for what they do.
Very good. Listen, I hear what you're saying, and you're making some excellent points. We definitely need to have additional programs in our community. Definitely need to have more churches open, providing additional services and additional youth centers that's in our community. As we wrap this up with you, the program is entitled A Parent's Plea, and so I would like to hear from you today. What would be your plea if you just had to make a plea? What would be your plea as it relates to the violence in our community?
I'm a mother of 3, and I don't want to hear or see my son or daughter on TV like this. I would like to see more parents walking their children to school. I see 3, 4, 5, 6-year-olds walking their children, their brothers and sisters to school. Please take the time to walk, even if your son is 21, like mine is. I take the time to walk him to the bus stop a couple times a week to make sure I know that he gets there. Take the time to understand and listen to your children. There's, in between the lines, there may be something, anything there that they're trying to tell you. So please listen to your children. Hug them, love them, take the time with them, listen to them, and also, this is very important, always bring your children up in the Word of God. Always.
Right.
And I pulled my daughter out of public schools for one sentence that she had said. Why do I have to always walk to school and see police cars and ambulances and hear that my young friends are getting stabbed?
Right.
Just please, just parents, just listen. Get the Bible out and listen and read it to them, and hopefully that somebody, our children, will catch on and stay in church with God and pray with them. Have a family prayer session.
Very good.
Hug them, kiss them, love them. Just get sloppy with them.
Right, very good.
Just love them and take the time with them.
Yes, ma'am.
It makes a difference.
I really appreciate that. I really appreciate your time, and I hear what you're saying, that we ought to train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he's old, he will not depart from it. I want to thank you so very much for taking time out of your schedule to share with us your powerful testimony that you have that you shared with us, and we really appreciate your time. And we'll continue to pray for you and your family as it relates. Again, thank you for turning your pain into purpose. As we continue to talk about our tragedy, our problems that we're faced with in the city of Chicago. Chicago is a great city. However, we're facing some difficult times. We're facing some difficult challenges. And in our community, many people say in the African-American community or across the nation, when we come to the young people between the ages of 14 and 24, we understand that the number one killer in our community is handgun violence and violence that's taking place in our communities. Some people have said that our community is in a state of emergency. We have another young individual who's with us today who's been on the forefront, who's been working very diligently in our community to get the word out as it relates to the violence that's in our community. He's no stranger in the city of Chicago. I'm so honored to have with us Brother Willie. And Willie Williams, we want you to just share with us who you are, and we also would like for you to share with us why you're here and what your story is all about, because we want to hear your story.
First of all, I want to thank you for inviting me, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're the man with the plan.
Well, my name is Willie Williams Jr. Unfortunately, on April 1st of 2006, I got a phone call that my son was shot. Now, let me tell you that I talked with my son earlier in the day, and he asked me, was it okay to go to the movies? You know, my concern when you go into certain movies in the city of Chicago, you got to make sure that it's pretty much a safe theater. I had a problem with my son going to the Ford City Mall movie theater.
Okay.
But one of the things, you know, you got to do is you got to let your child get out there and journey and know the city.
Mm-hmm.
So what I just said, you know, I said, be careful, be safe, and I put it in God's hand that you'll be okay. I can tell you this, to get a call at 1 o'clock in the morning and say that your child's been shot is unbelievable. You know, I'm listening to all the other parents, and we all went in the same route, was a shock. I'm walking around holding my head, and I'm like, this is not happening, this is not happening. And my wife, she's like, you know what, you got to get to the hospital, you got to get to the hospital. I said, I'm in no shape to drive. Unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunate, but by the grace of God, I have a friend, his name is Johnny Gaston. I called him and said, I need to get to the hospital. Willie's been shot. Without a blink, he was there at my house within 3 to 5 minutes. He got me out to the hospital, everybody's Mission Christ Hospital, within a half an hour, with the police following us.
Mm-hmm. Do me a favor. Tell me a little bit about Willie. I know he's junior also. Or is he the third?
He's the third.
You're a junior.
I'm junior.
All right, he's the third. And tell me what type of personality was he? Was he an outgoing individual? And then, you know, just share with us about that.
Well, you know, Willie was an incredible kid, you know, very respectful to the adults. He was on the Jesse White Tumbling team. He played basketball for Robeson High School. 2 weeks before that, Willie had just signed a letter to go to Arizona State. So he was actually, he was headed in the right direction. He was headed to college. That was the next goal that he had on his belt, to go to college and play ball.
Well, now, would you agree that when we lose our children at such an early age, when they're cut down, that we're losing our next president, our next, you know, senator, our next, you said he loves sports, basketball, next Michael Jordan, when their lives are cut down so short?
Well, you know what, you're losing your babies and you're losing your future. You know, the future of the United States, and they could be, like you said, doctors, lawyers, politicians. Mm-hmm. One of the main things that you got to look at is young people for some reason don't have the mindset anymore. For some reason, they just go out and the first thing they think is gun.
Okay.
You know, gun. You know, they don't think fight. They think gun, knife. You know, mm-hmm. That's the show that they're hard. They have trying to get a rep.
Okay.
So I want to tell you, first of all, you know, as a parent, to go through losing a child, you never heal.
Okay.
You get stronger, but you never heal. For 14 hours, I had to watch my son. Watch him, and I couldn't do anything as a dad. I used to always tell my son, make it to me. You'll be all right. I had to make it to him. And as a dad, I couldn't do anything but pray. I pray. I was like, God, just put me in this place. Let me lay there, because he has a future, Give him the chance to see life. I'm 44. Let my son journey, go to college, journey, see what's happening, that he got, what he can give to the city of Chicago, what he can do for himself or future kids, or what, that I hope that he had. But 14 hours, I was there when my son was born. And I had to feel my son leave this world. Now the doctor said, no, don't run out of here. I felt my son leave here. And I felt so bad that I couldn't do anything. I was just telling the Lord, what, take me. He had too much to live for. I did everything that you asked me to do as a dad, to be there, guide him, and he was headed in the right direction. But you know what? You can't second guess God. Right. God has his plans, and I guess his plan was for me to get out here a little bit more to try to guide some other kids in the right direction. I was always working with kids and doing things with the kids. I believe that was a calling. My late pastor, Reverend Ivory, told me, hey, your calling is to work with the kids, do sporting events and make sure they stay, in the right direction. And then unfortunately, you get a young lady or a young man come into your room and ask you, would you donate your kids' organs? Wow. I'm going through something that I've never ever wanted to go through. But I had to find myself and say, yes, I would do that. So we donated 6 of Willie's organs, and it saved 4 lives. Wow. Wonderful. So now God has me on this journey to go around the city and try to get this word out.
Okay, tell us what you're doing, because I know you're doing some wonderful things in the city. I know you have some upcoming events too, so just share with us what some of the things that you've done so far.
Well, basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to reel in kids to try to see what they want to do in life. You reel them in with sports. So I do a lot of different 3-on-3 tournaments and different things like dance contests with the kids, and just have food for them and everything. Just get them to come and have some fun for that day. Because the neighborhoods, that I've been in are unbelievable. But for the 1 or 2 days that I do things with the kids, we get to find out a lot about what they want to do. Okay. And I've seen that, hey, it's working. And it's working that I'm trying to get everybody in the city of Chicago to join in with me to get these things started with the kids. Right. So it's been 3 years. All I can tell you is I see what's going on out here. I know everyone else sees what's going on out here. The programs that we're trying to do is going to help make the kids stay in a path, which that path is what you want to do in school. If you want to cook, you want to be a businessman, let's do it. So basically what we're doing is this week, June 20th, we're going to be doing a summer kickoff concert. The kids, they basically, what they do is they try to follow a lot of the videos. So we actually got some key people from videos like Soulja Boy, Twister, okay, Baby Huey.
That's June 20th. Where's that going to take place in the time?
That's going to be at Harrison Stadium. Okay. And we just want the families to come out, because it's not just a kid thing, it's a family thing.
What's the address of Harrison?
The address is on Fullerton, actually, and Central, I'm sorry. Okay. But basically what it is, again, this is for a family. We need, family need to come together. Right. It takes a village. Like I said, we need churches. We need everybody to come together to do this. Yeah, excuse me, for some reason when you still talk about your child, sometimes it affects you. But I want to try to share some of the things that's been working with other people around the city. I've been working constantly with the mayor's office, working with the aldermen, just trying to get everybody on one key, trying to get with the pastors around the city. If we say we have to have a solution is every church needs to be open at the same time. And when I say the same time, have a program going on at the same time. That means that's a lot of buildings are open for the kids. Other solution is we need to get the structure back into the houses. Third thing is, which is number 1, we need prayer in the house. We need prayer. And every parent should know who's and what is going on in their houses. You need to know what's in your house. There's no privacy in your house. If you sit up and you talk with the kids about I have privacy, no. You want privacy, you get your own. So my thing is, anything that's in my house, I know what's going on in my house.
That's right.
Another thing that I'm working with a lot of block clubs is you have a block club captain. You talk to basically your block club captain, go to everybody's house. Go to everybody's house and then make sure they know and figure out who's the person or kid that's probably going to be the trouble child.
Wonderful. Mr. Willie Williams, you're doing an awesome job out here, and we want to connect with you. We want to have you back so that we can continue to do some of the things that you're out here doing. You're doing an awesome job. Come on, do me a favor. Let's give Mr. Willie Williams, Jr. a great hand. As we continue to talk about the issues that we're faced with, we want to continue to stress to those that are in our community some of the things that we can do to resolve some of the problems. We've been hearing parents who've been saying that we need to have more after-school programs. We need to have more resources in our community. We need to have the families and the block clubs come together to work together. We're going to have to do this block by block, street by street, community by community, and city by city in order to make this a better community. It takes a village to raise a child. And so we're so honored to have with us today sharing Joyce Hunter, who's here with us today, who's going to share with us, unfortunately, another sad story, but she's going to share with us how she turned her tragedy into triumph. I want to first of all say thank you for sharing with us on today, Joyce. You can have that mic a little closer to you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Just tell us a little about who you are. Just introduce yourself. And after you introduce yourself so that everybody can hear you say your name, why don't you tell us a little bit about your story?
My name is Joyce Hunter. I lost my son, Julius Burdine, on June the 25th of 2006. And the reason was that he refused to let his dog fight.
Okay.
Around the neighborhood, they was having dog fights.
Okay.
And Julius refused, and a young man came back to shoot him. At first, how it all started, they had gotten into some type of argument, and Julius had beat one of the young men up, and the friend came back and shot him in the head.
It's so unfortunate. You know, and not trying to compare the way we were coming up to what's taking place now, because we really need to have some conflict resolution. But back in the day when we were coming up, you know, when we got into a fight, it was a fist fight. If you lost a fight, you went home and you called it a day. But for some reason, our young people don't understand that now when they retaliate, they go and get a gun or a knife.
Right. That's the way Julius was. He wanted to fight hands up.
Okay.
And they fought hands up. The young man lost the fight.
Yes, ma'am.
And his friend came back and shot him.
That's unfortunate.
Yes.
That's unfortunate. Tell us a little bit about your son.
Julius he was a father of two. He had one daughter and one son.
And how old was Julius?
26 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, he worked at UPS, and he also worked at Guinness.
Okay.
And he's a very humble person, nice attitude, always smiling. He would give you whatever he had.
Okay.
I never saw him angry.
Mm-hmm.
And loved his children. Matter of fact, he got killed in front of his house, in front of his wife.
In front of the wife?
Yes.
Okay. So what kind of impact has this had on the family? How have you all
not
been
only
handling
did it have an impact when the person that does the shooting,
Right.
their family also go through something
Absolutely.
too.
Absolutely.
You see, we forget that it's only don't affect our family, it also affect the person who done the crime.
And that's an excellent point that you're bringing up, because we have two victims.
Two victims,
when
that's right.
we lose someone, that's one victim, but then the person who commits the crime, when they go to jail,
That's
their
a tragedy
family, the
for
whole
them,
family
the
goes
whole
to jail
family.
as well.
They
Correct.
also gave the young guy who shot Julius 56 years, which I have God in my heart, and I forgave the young man at the court. I also took his information down to write him, because we didn't raise our children to kill.
Right.
We raise our children to have faith in the God. And somehow society mess up their minds, and that's how they come out.
So that's two men that we lose.
Two young black men.
Two young black men. We lose your son, and then
And she
another
also
son
lost her son
that goes to jail.
to jail.
Powerful. What do you think the problem is? Why do we have so much violence in our community? Why are so many people so angry?
Because they don't have enough love in their heart. Kindness. We're not kind enough to one another. We as black people have so much hatred towards one another. And they don't understand the hatred, where it's coming from. But we have to stop praying more and stop being nice to each other.
Okay. All right. And so, as a parent, if you just had to give a plea, if you had to share with others what your parent plea is, what would be your plea today?
I would ask the young men to stop shooting and start being kind and respecting one another. Start taking the children on trips. You see the children out here, young boys just fighting, and our black adult men do not say nothing. They just walk past and will not even open their mouth. I have saw it on my block.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, what can we do to resolve this? What can we do to fix the problem that we're having in our community, in your opinion?
In my opinion, more prayer, more community service, more homes, to open your homes up to family dinner on Sunday, your neighbor's house. You know, we used to do that on Sundays. When we get out of church, we used to go to family houses and eat.
Right. Okay. Is there anything else as we wrap this up with you?
No,
Is there
I have
anything
a
else
foundation, the Julius Lee Verdine Foundation, which I'm giving a peace walk on June the 27th at 78th and Ada, where he got shot at.
All right. So what time is the peace walk?
The peace walk is at 10 o'clock
Okay.
to 12 o'clock. And what we're asking is everybody to come out and register, and the registration is for $2 for children and $5 for family.
Okay.
And we're going to walk the neighborhood.
Give us the date and the location and the time one more
The
time.
date will be June the 27th, 2009, and the time will be at 10 o'clock to 12 o'clock, 78th and Ada.
Okay, 78th and 8th. All right, is there any last thing you would like to say? Any last thing you would like to share? Anything that you need people to know or understand? That
Yes, for the mothers that's grieving to come together, I want all of us to come together and stop the grieving and just try to do something with our community.
Yes, ma'am. We understand this is a very difficult situation to be in. It's a very difficult situation to deal with. And I want you to know that we continue to pray for you and for those who have experienced this, and ask that you remain encouraged. You're doing an awesome job, and we want to congratulate you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so very much for sharing with us. We want to thank Sister Joyce Hunter. Let's give her a hand for all the work that she's doing. As we continue to deal with the crime, the violence, the victims of crime that are in our community, we want to continue to share and put a face to these tragic situations and stories that we hear. So often we hear about people who lose their loved ones, their family, but we never get a chance to really hear their story, really get a chance to hear. So many times people think that someone that gets killed in the street, we often stereotype them and say that must have been a thug, it had to be gang related. And a lot of times these are just normal individuals who are just living their lives. People who are somebody's son, somebody's father, who has a family that they're trying to raise. We have with us sharing at this time a young man who's also a community activist, working in the community, doing a great job in both the south side and the west side. We got some west side in the house today. And so we have this young man, Charles Hollett, who's going to share with us his story and share with us why he's here and what event occurred in your life that's so devastating that you would like to share with the community.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say thanks to you, Pastor, for kind of bringing this this to light and this out to the public and giving us an opportunity to kind of talk about this. My son was killed in 1994, so I'm one that this kind of problem affected a while back, which says that it's not really a new problem or something that has just started. We've had this issue around for quite a while, but I think it's getting much more serious now, and we do need these kinds of opportunities to kind of talk about it. I'm also one of those parents who really never kind of talked about the incident, you know.
And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to have this discussion. We have so many parents who are still grieving, who are still going through this tragic event, that no one seems to want to talk about it. No one wants to talk about it. The public officials don't want to talk about it. People in the community don't want to talk about it. We have parents who don't want to talk about it. I have the opportunity of knowing you for some time, and I never known up until today that your son was a victim of crime.
Yeah. Yes.
And is one of the reasons because you were also one of those who didn't want to talk about it?
I'm one of those many, you'd be surprised. There are many of parents like me who don't talk about it. It's something and it's part of the grieving process.
Correct.
And in a way you really never kind of get over it, but you do kind of get through it.
Right.
But a lot of us just don't talk about it.
Okay.
And my son was 21 at the time. His name is Charles Howard Jr.
Okay.
And he was visiting his girlfriend at the time on the west side, near Roosevelt and Loomis.
Okay.
And he had gone to the store for her to get some milk and bread for she had a child, and so he was going to the store to get some milk and bread, eggs, some other things. And on the way back to the house from the store, he was accosted by several local gang members, I guess we for lack of a better word.
Right.
Guys who consider themselves to be in the local gang.
Okay.
And he was accosted, and during the scuffle, so to speak, he was shot in the head by someone with a gun, who during the court session said, well, it was an accident. I didn't really mean to shoot him. The gun kind of just went off. But the damage is done.
Correct.
Because there was a gun involved. Also during that time, this is 1994, the state's attorney's office and the attorney general's office was just beginning to start dealing with crime victims,
Right.
and their issues, and so it helped us get through this. It did not resolve all the issues because again it was a relatively new program, so there were a lot of problems there. But I understand that today crime assistance for crime victims and their families is a much better program, and I'm saying you have one that is working where you are.
Absolutely.
But I think for parents such as I, who are still there,
Right.
and such, and I also remember some of the things the fathers said here about once they learned about the incident, how they really couldn't just focus.
Right.
And I had that problem as well. Because I remember I was coming home from work, and I think one of my son's friends would stop me and said, "Hey, we've been looking for you. Charlie's just been shot, and he's at the hospital." And someone called me and said, "Well, Charlie's just died." And I said, "Well, I got to get to the hospital," and I kind of just drove, and eventually I got there, but it was not a straight trip.
Right.
Because you really think about, this
This can't be happening.
no.
This cannot be happening to me.
Right.